They're a little expensive for what they are, but they're definitely going to do the job. Very highly rated. They come with, these are 1/4 screws that I'm using. These you have to buy yourself, whatever, however you want to. Number 6 and number 8, they come with number 6, number 8, and 1/4 screws. Holes plenty big, but not too big for the size of the head. Common sense says you should check that the threads are good for all of your T-nuts before they get put in. I have the holes all marked out, and just as I did on the baffle face, they'll get put in with a little bit of epoxy around. I'll open up the hole, drill the hole just a little bit oversized. I'll put a bed of epoxy around the bottom here and then bring it in. And these are what I've been waiting for now before I put the baffle plate, glue the baffle into it. It's a lot easier to get at the inside of here before the baffle's put on. I always drill out pilot holes first, just in case it's not perfectly straight. You have a chance to, as you're opening up the hole, to ensure that it's true. Again, the hole is going to be a little bit oversized, so this will sit itself flat on the inside. These are 9/16. You can get T-nuts in various heights. I hadn't realized the variety that was available. The local big box store had them, so it was easy enough to run up the street and get them. They weren't prohibitively expensive. I think Parts Express has a better price for what they offer. I don't know if they have them this deep, but I've forgotten about the need for them, and in any event, I opted to go with the 1/4 screws that were included and picked up the appropriate T-nuts, and they were 9/16 depth for 3/4 inch material. That'll work out nicely. Nice and easy as you're drilling it, otherwise you'll blow chunks out on the back side. Nice and easy, bring it down slow, picking it up a little bit at a time. You just saw how I did it. That's worked out well for me. If you get too aggressive just running a drill down through the inside, you blow big chunks out of the other side of it. Where I was lucky and I almost goofed was when I measured the location of them, I positioned them and looked at the speaker to see how they would present underneath it. I don't really want to show them off, but I also didn't want to make the box look like it was suspended. I used 2 inches as a measurement. I went 2 inches and I allotted for the baffle that would bring this out another 3/8 and measured 2 inches in. And it sits just to the edge, with about 1/8 of an inch clearance to where the baffle is going to sit. I hadn't given it any consideration about the double width baffle. I looked at everything as though it was just 3/4 of an inch. And almost goofed, but like I said, Lady Luck, she's taken a shine to us today, and away we go. T-nuts are all covered with epoxy. I couldn't find a 1/4 bolt that was threaded all the way up, so I'm going to improvise. Put some spacers on here and a big flat washer on the bottom. When you use a washer, make sure that you have the sharp edge up, the round edge down. This is to make sure that we don't have too much of an impression into the MDF. It's going in this manner so that the epoxy isn't tempted to fall down or run down in the way of our threads. So we do it from the bottom coming up. Smear around any of the epoxy that goops out the bottom, or out the sides I should say. Make sure this is nice and snug. We know we got the T-nut bottomed out. When you're smushing around what's squeezed out on the underside, make sure you didn't get any on your threads before you back it out. We don't need to be pulling epoxy through there. Normally I'd wait until it's set up a little bit, but it was a quite a bit was squishing out there, so I wanted to get it before it fell. And then we'll go on to the other three, the same way as this. If you have a bigger flat washer, the bigger the better for what goes on the bottom here. But again, we're just making sure that the T-nut has bottomed itself out. We're not really putting a significant amount of torque on there. Barely any impression. That's going to get sanded yet. And if there is any residual depression on there, it's going to end up getting hidden by the feet that go in place. And if it bothers me while I'm refinishing it, it's easy enough to put a little spackle. But I don't feel anything on here. Just perfect. Now on to the other three. A little fast forward here so you can see what they look like on the box. Again, I didn't want them right close up to the edge. I didn't really want to see them, but I didn't want to hide them underneath so far that they were going to make the box look like it was levitating. It's being suspended up off of the floor. In any event, they're nice thick rubber, very highly reviewed, and I'm confident that they're going to do the job.